The whole world was looking at me and I just wanted to hide. My name is Diamond. I am from Buffalo, New York.
And what was your childhood like growing up?
My childhood was dysfunctional, um, confusing, and drama.
Okay. And what made it like, why would you say drama?
So as I got older, I realized it was because I wasn't my sister's dad's daughter. So it was like some biological drama going on there. But when I was younger, I didn't know. I didn't know that that wasn't my dad. I didn't have a clue. And I realized that about myself now, I'm very like tunnel vision. So if like I'm focused on something, I'm not thinking about the outside noise. So I feel like that was a reason why I didn't notice that he was telling the whole world that he was not my father. But I'm so focused on what I think I know and what I'm doing that I can't focus on like the outside noise. So that was a big part of my childhood. I didn't realize how much it affected me until I got older and I really understood that that's traumatizing. Okay, so I remember from my knowledge, the very first time, so my mom had 5 kids. As I got older, I found out that she had 4 baby fathers with these 5 kids. But when we was growing up, she said she only had 2 baby fathers. So that's very confusing. Um, and I remember my sister, who was 3 years older than me, she came to my room one day and she was mad at her dad. And she said, he said you're not his daughter. She's very spiteful. Love my sister, but she's very spiteful. And she was like, he said you're not his daughter. And I was like, I was so confused because I'm a kid. I'm telling y'all, when I say I'm so tunnel vision, I don't care about nothing else. When I'm focused on something, I'm focused. So I didn't even think about things like that. And she said, yeah, that's why he said you're not his daughter. So at the time, I still didn't think about it. I was like, girl, what? Whatever. But I remember he came to my room and her father was very violent and very manipulative and very nasty. And he would call us out our names. He would call us B's. He'd be like, yeah, this little B did this. Like, he was horrible. And he came to my room and was like, don't talk to that B, talking about his own daughter. And I was like, nah, you don't talk to me. She said, I'm not your daughter. And like his eyes lit up. Like I seen a side of him I never seen. So that's how I knew it was true. And like even then, I thought about it, but I didn't think too much of it because I didn't know nothing about paternities or nothing. I didn't know what they was talking about. So I said it, but I let it go. And as years went on and I got older and I feel like I started finding myself more and he felt like he couldn't control me, he really started saying, I'm not your dad. Go find your dad in Baltimore. I'm not your dad. So my best friend, I remember Raven, she told me like she brought me in the bathroom one day. She said, Diamond, is Dion your dad? I said, yeah. She said, my dad said he not. She said, and my dad said Diamond is so sweet. That's my daughter. So we both was in the bathroom crying and I'm like, what is going on? Like I don't and then my mom is the type of mom that you can't talk to her about nothing. Like she will lie about everything. She will get defensive. She will hang up on you. You cannot talk to her about nothing. My mom is so traumatized. My mom is so stuck in her ways. Love my mom to death. I finally realized how my mom is as I got older. But my mom is she not a person to talk to about nothing. And she just wasn't the right person to talk to. And I remember my mentor, we was talking about it right before she died. Rest in peace, Classy. Love you. But she was like, just ask your mom for his name. And I said, Mom, what's my dad name? I'm done with Dion telling everybody he not my dad. I'm done with everybody talking about me behind my back, acting like I'm just a child that is, you know what I'm saying? Like that need help or something, that need a dad. I don't need nobody. As long as I got Jesus Christ, that is my father. And that's what I had to realize. But at the time, they made me feel like a fatherless child. I feel like I didn't belong. All his family that I thought was my family, I remember he started calling me like, yeah, don't call my brother, don't call my aunt. I'm like, this who I thought was my uncle, this who I thought was my aunties, and this grown man is saying this to me. But as I got older, I realized he was adopted. He was in foster care. Like you, when you get older, you start realizing why people handle you the way they do. And he was a hurt child. And I'm not making an excuse for him, but this is somebody that was in foster care. So telling somebody that you not my child, that was the normal for him. He wasn't their child. You know what I'm saying? That makes no excuse for him to do that to me. But I had to understand that part of everything, as I got older and realized he didn't mean to hurt me. He called me years later. As I'm in Baltimore, he called me. He said, Daima, I'm so sorry. I'm so hurt that you with your dad. I'm like, you told me to meet him. But he like, I'm so hurt that you with him. I was hurt when I found out you moved. You my daughter. And it's just like, you know what? God don't play about his people. Like, regardless of what, he gonna make you shine in the face of your enemies. And he gonna make them regret treating you bad. Because that man know I was nothing but a good daughter to him. Like, I praised him. I thought he was such a good dad. Even though he called us out our names. Even though he was so mean at times. I still, looked at him like a god. And I learned a lot from that, and it was a lesson learned. I don't regret thinking that was my father. I don't regret anything he did for me. I appreciate everything he did for me. I'm so much mature now, and I realize that what he did do for me, he didn't have to do, and I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for him. Even though he hurt me, that was a lesson in my life. God made me stronger because of that.
What did your mom say the day that you asked her for the name?
So the first day I asked her, my mom is very like, she can't admit her wrongs. So the day I asked her, I remember she was in my house. I asked my mentor, and to this day, my mentor got killed by her boyfriend. So like, me being here is so special to me because she is the reason I'm here. So I will take her everywhere with me. Classy, I love you. But she was like, Diamond, ask for his name. We asked for his name. And she had moved to Ohio. She wasn't in Buffalo no more. She moved to Ohio, and she said, I want to help you figure your life out because she knew I was such a good girl. And she found my dad. I don't know how. I gave her the name. She called all type of Maryland schools, all his old jobs, everything, and she found him. And my mom ended up getting in contact with him as well. And she said, Diamond, oh, your dad, he want to talk to you. I sent him a picture of you, and he want to talk to you. And we talked, and he came to visit me in Buffalo. And he was like, I think you should move to Baltimore. And me and my son moved to Baltimore. And we've been here for 8 years. And we moving in 2 days to Charlotte. But, oh my God, Baltimore has been the biggest blessing in my life. That was the best decision I ever made in my life for me and my child. Seriously. So everything works out how it's supposed to. God will work it out.
So, growing up, what was religion like in your household? Did you know who Jesus was?
So I feel like with my mom, no, I didn't. Like I said, I have very great aunts. They're actually my mother's aunts. They're my grandmother's sisters. My mom was the only child. So these aunts are great aunts. Maybe I feel like that's why they really installed like the old school way of living in our heads because they were my great aunts. They wasn't my aunts. But they will always like come on Sundays, pick us up, whoever. Like, we always had kids at our house. We always had people staying the night. My mom was always out, so we was trying to have company. You know what I'm saying? So even if my friends was there, I'd be like, "Come on, y'all, we getting dressed. We going to church." Something in my spirit like always like yearned for God. I don't know what it was. Ever since I was a kid, I always feel like He's the ruler of the world, which He is. I always feel like He was the number one thing, which He is. It wasn't that strong when I was younger, and I was like, oh Lord, I love you every second of the day. But when I was younger, I still had it in me. I just didn't know how serious it was. Like, I didn't know how much being all about him could set you up for blessings and like for greatness. I just thought maybe sometimes you can act like you about God, but other times wild out. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize that. I mean, He has grace, so even when you wild out, He still bring you back to home. But I didn't realize how you can really just focus your life on Him and everything will be good. Everything will smooth sailly. Like, the humble don't stumble. I didn't know that. So I felt like I was playing with God. Like, He knew my heart, but I felt like some days I'd be all about Him, then other days I would forget about Him. It took for me to have my child to get deep into like my spiritual journey to understand that it's okay. Like, we all messed up. I'm not saying nobody perfect. Even people in church, they might do something that is not pleasing God for the moment, but He has grace, and as long as He sees us working, He gonna meet us halfway. And once I realized that, I was just like, I want to work for Him. Like, I don't want to work for the devil. I want to work for God. That's the only person that wins is the one that works for God. When you work for the devil, you seem like you winning for a moment. It's so many people I know that are doing the wrong things and they got money. But I'm like, 10 years, y'all gonna be broke. Like, and I'm gonna be rich because I'm thinking about God. I'm praising God. I'm putting Him number one. So once I realized that, I feel like I have a whole different ball game with life. So I feel like I was losing myself high school years because I started getting introduced to guys and drinking and smoking, all of this unworldly things. So I kind of started drifting away from God. It was still in me, but I just felt like it wasn't number one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like maybe my boyfriend was number one, or maybe making sure I got weed for the night was number one. I did not put God number one. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of it. But He know my heart. But I didn't put Him number one. And when I didn't, I failed every time. So then when I realized the only way you can win is with God, I started putting Him number one. But that took years. That took years. Even now, I still mess up. It's still times I be like, Lord, please forgive me. Like, that was not like you. That I'm not acting like you. But we're human. You know what I'm saying? And He has grace on us. I'm not taking advantage of the grace because I don't want Him to have to slap me on the wrist for something. But I know He does have grace, and I'm definitely taking advantage of that. But I lost myself. I lost my spirit. I just lost my journey with God when I started doing unworldly things. I'm not even gonna say as teenagers, but when I started drinking and smoking and being in the streets, I lost it. I did. I didn't think about God. I didn't, and I'm ashamed, and I'm happy that He brought me back to Him. But that's when my life was going so bad when I didn't put Him first.
And what did you do after high school?
So after high school, I actually went to a black historical college. I went to Clark Atlanta University. Didn't have a clue of what to do. Didn't even finish my financial aid. My mom didn't know how to do it. I was her first kid to go to college. So we messed up. And eventually I had to come back home. As far as the financial aid with my college, when I signed up for college, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know about HBCU. I didn't know nothing. My college professors, I mean, not my college, my high school counselors was like, Diamond, you so smart. Your grades are so good. You can go anywhere. So I'm like, I don't think so. I never thought of nothing outside of Buffalo. And me and 3 of my friends applied for Clark Atlanta University. And they both got accepted before me. And when you get accepted, they put all the certifications on the wall. So I was like, oh my God, nobody putting mines up. But I got accepted last after them. But I still got accepted. But I was like, oh my God, they got accepted to Clark. And they didn't have no interest in going. They was like, girl, I'm staying in Buffalo. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm somebody that really wants to go somewhere. Like, please, Lord, when is it my turn? And I got accepted last. And they put me on that wall. I was like, I don't care if y'all staying in Buffalo. I'm going to Atlanta. I don't know what's there. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going. And I feel like the fact that I was my mom, I'm her third daughter, but my 2 sisters, they didn't graduate. But they both RNs now with their BSN. So congrats, sisters. But at first, they didn't graduate high school before me. I was the first kid to graduate high school from her. So my mom didn't have a clue about college. She never went to college. So when I told her I got accepted, I feel like that's all she thought. We didn't think about financial aid. I'm staying on dorm. I'm doing this. We don't know none of this stuff. So Clark, they let you come without your financial aid being completed yet. So they did all drive me there. I was in Atlanta. I was doing my thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm at ATL. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I don't know nothing about nothing. But I was there. And I was experiencing it. I was at Spelman. I was at Morehouse. I was on my thing. I was happy. But my best friend was 2 years older than me, and she had been in Atlanta, but she was like in the party life of Atlanta. So honestly, that's why I wanted to go to college there. She was like, Diamond, you so smart. Just go to college here, and we're going to meet up. So I'm like, okay, my best friend here. I'm going to be in college. She's going to be partying. It's going to be a good vibe. By the time I went to college, she moved back to Buffalo. She ain't even last. So that really was like, I don't want to be here. She not here no more. And then all of my friends in Buffalo was calling me, and they looked like they was having a good time. We wasn't in school no more. High school was over. I was like, I'm missing out. I'm out of high school. Life is lit. We can do whatever we want all day. I'm going back to Buffalo, what I know. And that's what I did. And I kind of messed up. But I met a very good friend who is my best friend to this day. She is from Louisiana. She was in the exact same situation as me. We both didn't know about financial aid. And She went to school. She lived with her grandmother. So we just was both happy to be two black girls in college, at a black college. But we both gave up so easy. We gave up at the same time. They told her financial aid didn't go through. They told me mine didn't. We both literally went to my aunt's house in Atlanta, stayed there for like 3 days, and both got tickets to go back to our hometown. And I feel like I'm so influential that I could have made her stay. If I knew what to do, I would have helped her do it, and we would have stayed. But I'm also influential to, if I can convince somebody not to do something too, right with me. And that's what I got to realize. And I feel like I convinced both of us to just give up. And I could have been a social worker, I think they said by the age of 22. And I was like, I want to be a street walker by the age of 22. Like, I was so naive.
Is that what you signed up for at the school?
Yes, I went there for social work and didn't even know what social work was. I was just like, oh, that sounds good. Now that's my passion. Now I'm signing back up for school for that because that's really my passion. I really love helping anybody. But I really want to help teenagers that get out of the foster care because I feel like they just ship you off. I want to help them like fill out job applications, fill out house applications. Like that's my focus. But at the time, I just thought it was cute. I thought it sounded good. But not even knowing that's really my passion.
God's timing is perfect.
Yes, it is.
You're in a better space than you were when you got out of school.
So after school, after I came back home, my friend went back to Louisiana. I went back to Buffalo. At first, I was like, "Ma, can she live with us?" My mindset was just, oh my God. I was like, "Can she live with us?" And my mom's so green. She said, "Yeah." But her grandma said no. She like, you just met her. You trying to go to Buffalo. Girl, bye. But we still best friends to this day. It's like 15 years later. That's my bestie. But that was God. He put us together for a reason, on purpose. And now I be telling her, girl, we both going back to school for social work. We doing that. I don't care. We both got a son. We going to do what we got to do. This is our time. It's now. After I left college, I went back home. I was lost because I ain't gonna lie. When I first left, so many people from my city was writing me like, you are such a good example of a young black woman. Like, they idolized me at that time. I feel like I start feeling like I wasn't good enough, so I start acting like I wasn't good enough. Because all through high school and stuff, I was the smart girl. I never was the girl that they thought was in the streets. They always was like, Diamond is so smart. Like, all the boys used to sit behind me, copy off my test. I'd be like I'm helping my people out, So I always was known as the smart girl, like cool girl, never a nerd with the smart stuff. Always the cool smart girl, but I always was known for my grades. Like I even to this day, people I don't know in Buffalo, they be like, yeah, 'cause Diamond's smart. I be like, damn, how y'all know? So it's like that's my reputation, like being a smart girl, going to a black historical college. So I feel like I kind of messed it up. Came home, got in the streets, met my baby father. Had like a real toxic relationship. We was young. I was 19. He was 21. Or I was 18. He was 20 at the time. So that's kids. Now I think about it, I was like, why did I expect so much from this kid? Like, I expected him to be like the best man of the century, and that was a child. He didn't know. Like, I didn't even know what a good man was. But I met him, and like, it was good at first. It didn't start off bad. It was real good at first. But it started getting real toxic. It started getting real negative. So we met in the mall. I knew him before because I like hung in his neighborhood, which was a bad neighborhood. Like, it's like now when you think about it, it be like, you set yourself up for failure. But I don't regret my child. I don't regret his father. I love his father to death. I love my baby. But I was like in a point where I just wanted to live like the street life. And he was a street guy. He was like selling drugs and making fast money. And I just thought that that's what I needed in my life. And I met him. I was supposed to go back to college, but I met him and I started hanging out with him. And shortly I became pregnant after. And 3 days after I had my child, he went to jail. And he's still there. He never got out from 3 days from my child being born. And he has 20 to life. So that was a eye-opener for me. That was a life change for me. And I learned a lot from that, from being forced to be a single mother,
Yeah, what did he go to jail for?
Kidnapping. He actually went to jail for stuff that he didn't even know about. He was 21. I was 19. And he, like, just did something dumb and told somebody they had to pay him some money and they can't leave until they do. And, we young. We not thinking of the extent of all of these things. That is kidnapping. But to him, it was, oh, somebody owed me money and I'm just waiting. No, to the state and to the courts, that's kidnapping. So he got a lot of time for that, and we both learned a valuable lesson from that. So when my child's father first got locked up, I was very ashamed. I was very embarrassed. He was all over the news. So I was like, oh my God, everybody is gonna know like that's Diamond's baby father. I'm so embarrassed. So I actually quit work. When he got sentenced, I quit work. I don't know why, I just thought the whole world was looking at me. I was like, wait, they know that that's my baby father and he got sentenced. Like, I'm ashamed. Let me hide. I don't know what I was thinking. My son was only 1 year old and I quit work, and I'm so ashamed now because he was going to my cousin's daycare. And I just stopped paying her and everything. And I apologized years later and I paid her back the money. But at that time, I was so young. I was so dumb. I was so naive. I thought the whole world was judging me. The whole world was looking at me, and I just wanted to hide. So I did things that I was ashamed of. Desperate times cause for desperate measures. So I was doing things that, like snaking people that I never would even think about doing it to. But I felt like I was at the bottom. I was being a person that wasn't even in my character. Like everybody know I'm loyal. I want integrity at work. So like I have integrity, but at that time I didn't know that I had it. So I just was like, I'm at the bottom. I gotta do whatever. I gotta survive. So I started doing things that was out of my character. And it just took me to really focus on God and to really focus on His Word, to change my lifestyle and to understand that it's bigger than everything that's in this world. It's like bigger than me. It's bigger than my son. It was like all about, I feel like, generational curses, and breaking them. So when I realized it was about that, I was like, all right, now I'm at work. I'm at work. I got to do some things. I started asking my aunt about like my family history. I said I always ask my aunt questions like, what was wrong with my grandmother? Why was my grandmother depressed? Because I feel like it's generational curses. That's my grandmother. So then it led down to her daughter, which is my mother, and now it's leading down to my mother daughters, which is me. So I care. I want to know what's going on. So I always ask my aunt questions about my grandmother. My grandmother was depressed and basically like died from depression. Like supposedly it was something in the gas when she went to sleep and it killed her. But I'm like, my grandmother was just depressed, point blank, period. They always said my grandmother was getting beat by my mom, dad. She was depressed. She had mental illness. It was a lot going on with my grandmother that people didn't even know what it was back in the day. And I think it's funny how I work with kids with mental illness now, and I work with kids with disabilities, so I understand that. But I always wanted to know like why my grandmother was the way she was, so that I can understand why my mother was the way she was, so that I can understand why I am the way I am. I always seeked answers. Since a child, I just feel like I always been curious about my background. So I feel like when I got pregnant, my aunt told me I don't remember a lot of the things that I said when I was young and dumb. I don't. I really don't. Thank God that He took the memory out my head. But it's a lot of things my aunt told me that I said, and I'm like, really? Oh my God, I thought like that. But she said when I got pregnant, and I told her, I said, Aunt Judy, that's my aunt. I love her. Aunt Judy, Aunt Tony, Aunt Joan, are my aunts. But she said that when I got pregnant, I told her like being pregnant is the best thing that ever happened to me because I stopped drinking. I didn't know that I said that, but that is the best thing that happened to me. Now that I'm older, I can't believe that I thought liquor was like a god, because liquor is nothing to me now. I don't even drink, not even once every 6 months. Like I don't drink. I can't believe the things that I thought was like an idol to me when I was younger, like don't even interest me now. Like I'm just not even interested in liquor. It took me a while to get not interested in weed, smoking weed. But liquor, oh my God. When I moved to Baltimore, I was over that. I was over that. And also moving to Baltimore, getting away from my surroundings, getting away from everything that I knew. I knew nothing about Baltimore when I moved here. I didn't know a street. I ain't know a city. I ain't know a town. I knew nothing. So everything was fresh to me. And I knew that son that needed to look up to me and the son that I needed to be home for. And that just changed my whole mindset. I think it was me being by myself. I needed to be by myself out here. I needed to know myself. I needed to learn myself. I didn't even know what I liked in men, in food, in nothing. I felt like I was just going with the flow in Buffalo. Like I didn't even know what interests me. Me getting closer to God, it really was Sarah Jakes. I'm not gonna lie, Sarah Jakes and Iyanla. I used to watch Iyanla shows every day, crying my eyes out, like, oh my God, I want to go on there. I want to tell my story. Iyanla, like, those are my inspirations. Iyanla and Sarah Jakes. Like, it's not no little celebrity. It ain't no BBL queen. It ain't none of that. I'm so inspired by Iyanla and Sarah Jakes. Those are my two inspirations. And when I realized that, I was like, you different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not into that. Everybody is not into a spiritual journey. And once I realized I was different, I liked it. I was like, being different is actually cool. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not something to be ashamed of. When I was younger, I was ashamed because everybody used to say, you a white girl. And I used to be like, no, I'm not. Like, I wanted to be like a hood girl. I wanted them to think I was in the streets. I was like, no. They used to be like, no, Diamond, you was a white girl. But I went to like, I'm not going to say a white school, but growing up from 3rd to 8th grade, I went to like a mixed school. So I had whites, blacks, all of that. And I had best friends with white people. I was introduced to other cultures. So I am different, and I like that. But when I was younger, I used to be so ashamed. I'm like, no, think I'm from the hood. No, I'm not. And everybody used to say that about me, like, you different. And I used to be so mad, like, no, I'm the same. I'm just like y'all. Like, what y'all do? Let me show y'all that I do that too. Now I'm like, oh, I don't do nothing that y'all do. I am so happy that I don't do anything that y'all do. And now it's so crazy because those same people I used to try to impress, they're so infatuated with me. They are like, Diamond, oh my God, what did you do? How did you change? What should I listen to? What should I watch? What should I read? And that's how God works. That's just how he works. Like the things that I was ashamed of, even speaking about, even being a part of, people want to know, how did I get a part of that? They want me to help them to be a part of that. So that's a blessing. I'm so happy to be different. I'm so happy to want to do things different and to want change, because a lot of people don't. I don't feel like it was necessarily like a just coming to Jesus moment, but it was just like me reading up on, like I said, Sarah Jakes, Iyanla, just understanding like my spiritual journey and like what I needed for myself. You know what I'm saying? Not what I needed for my family, not what I needed for my child. I had to focus on what I needed for my insides to take me to the next level, to be a better person and to be a better mother. And I feel like maybe it was the books, maybe it was the video. I can't say like a certain time, because I always hear people saying that God spoke to them. I can't necessarily say like he spoke and said this, but he does tell me things to do and he does tell me ways to go. But I can't say, oh, I heard his voice. I didn't yet. I can't wait till I do. I might be scared, but I can't wait till he do. But I feel like it was just like a realization of me realizing I'm better than this world, and it's more than this world. So when I realized that, that's when it took me to a new level. When I realized it's life, it's death, and it's afterlife, and it is about what you're doing here now, but what you want to do after, because that's what's eternal. This is like temporary. Like even if you live for 100 years, that's still temporary. It's eternal life. So what type of eternal life do you want to live? And once I started focusing on that, my whole mindset changed about life. I don't even care. Like I told you, I'm so tunnel vision to what's going on in this world, and sometimes it's bad because I'm not hip to what's going on in society, but I'm so hip to what's going on like in the spiritual world. Like I just want to better myself for the spiritual world, that I'm so tunnel vision. Yeah. I'm tunnel vision to this stuff.
And I love what you said as far as like when I was asking you, was it an encounter? Was it a moment? Like you said, it was kind of like a build up and you seeking and you growing. You know, I feel like that's important to say because not everybody that's following God has heard from him audibly, because he speaks in different ways. It's important for other people to understand, because I know at one point that's something that I struggled with, you know, just like, am I doing this wrong because I haven't heard from him audibly? You know what I mean? So I did like that you said that. But as far as your career, like what were you doing? Like once you realized that you need to get closer with God and you started changing, how did you change? And what was your career and your life and your moves looking like at that point?
So I feel like I started realizing that I used to get so mad. Like I tell my sisters to this day, they always say, why am I not a nurse? And I'll be like, listen, I'm the type of person that I feel like God can put me on a job where he don't have to watch me because I'm going to do the right thing. I have integrity. Nurses, I feel like the eyes is always on you. And everything is always on you. And everything is on you even when it's not right. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. I feel like females, are like spiteful. Working, even doing medical assistant, working in like that type of work, I feel like people are so mean, people are so spiteful. And I'm so much of an empath that it affects my how I'm working. Like if I see somebody being mean and spiteful, I'm gonna walk around and be like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? Instead of where it's like people that be like, whatever, girl, anyways, and they smiling. I can't do that. If I see you being nasty, I'm gonna want to give you that same energy. So I was like, nursing is not for me. You know what I'm saying? But
just the environment.
yeah, the
like
environment of the spitefulness. Yeah, I don't like spiteful. I like, like I like doing things on my own terms. That's why I feel like social work is for me. I can go meet somebody at their house and fill out an application with them and fill out a resume, and God watching me and he know, oh, Diamond doing the right thing. She doing her job. Rather than somebody have to have eyes on me. I don't have to do that. I have integrity. So I can do what I need to do on my own terms and without eyes on me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like with RBT, working with kids with autism, when I first got here in Baltimore, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I worked at a preschool in Buffalo, so I was like, this kind of the same thing. It's a school. Oh, baby, I was in for a rude awakening. Them kids are spitting on me, kicking me, everything. But I learned that I love kids and I have patience. And it made me be a better mother. So it was just helping me day by day. And I worked there for 5 years. God, it's so amazing because you never know what he will put in your life. I worked there for 5 years. That was my very first job in Baltimore, and I stayed there for 5 years. So I ain't gonna lie, any job I apply to, they always hire me because they see 5 years on my resume. They're like, hold on, she worked at this school where these kids are off the chain, so she can work here. So that was a blessing. At the time, it was people that was coming to Kennedy Krieger. They was looking at me like I was crazy because everybody talked about me. I was like the aide of the school. So they was like, oh my God, that girl Diamond, yeah, you know her? Yeah, she been working here for 4 years. And they be like, I can't even last 4 months. I don't know how she do it. Looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm trying to keep a job. I'm like, dang. So, but it was such a blessing. And that's actually how I got into working with kids with autism. I never did it before. And I just realized I got like a passion for that. And I know how to make a kid feel normal. And I realized that's a blessing. Even though all kids are normal, but even with a disability, I talk to them like they regular. What you doing? Stop that. You know you ain't supposed to. They love that. They love it. They be like, oh, she's talking to me like I don't have a disability. I'm like, no, you know better. You know what to do. Let's do the right things. Let's make our parents proud, and let's do what we got to do. And sometimes all it takes is somebody just understanding you. Those kids, baby, listen. They listen. They the smartest kids I ever met. That's what I'm gonna say you. Any kid with autism, with any disability, them is one of the smartest kids I ever met. And that taught me a lot. You know, people are judging people with disabilities. Those kids are so smart. Those kids know so much. They can look at a picture and then draw it and not even look at it again and perfectly, exactly how it was. You know what I'm saying? So it taught me a lot about life. And I feel like people with disabilities, those are the most genuine humans because they don't care about the outside noise. They don't care about shoes and clothes and money, and they don't care about that. And it just make me be like, oh my God, life is precious. And it make me realize that when you don't think about all of that stuff, you just go through life with a breeze. It's like they breezing through life. They not worried about bullies, couples, relationships. They not think about that stuff. They just worried about their favorite toy, their favorite song. You know what I'm saying? It's so beautiful to not let the outside noise affect your lifestyle. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful for you to say that because as I told you when we were talking, like my youngest son is autistic, and it took for somebody to tell me, you know, because when he first got diagnosed, if you don't have a history of that, like you say, you don't know. I don't know. So I'm sitting here feeling bad, and it's like his teacher told me like he's always the smartest in the class. And he's in the class with other autistic kids. He's the smartest in the class. And they like, he understands. So it took for somebody to tell me, you have to treat him regular. And that doesn't mean that, okay, I don't accommodate certain needs. But at the same time, he needs discipline. He needs structure. And that's something that a lot of parents don't know.
Because they feel like they got a disability. So I'm not gonna put too much on them. No, they want that. They can handle that.
Yeah.
They can handle that. And that's what I had to realize. Like, I'd never even thought about, I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, like my cousin, she got Down syndrome. That's the only person in my family. But I never even knew what autism was.
Yeah.
I never even thought about it. Even I probably seen a kid walking, I just thought they was bad. And they got autism. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, it's certain things that you don't think about. And it's like they can't help it. They're not trying to scream and cry and all of that. It's just they can't express certain things. That is frustrating for anybody. So it just made me love life more.
Yeah.
It did.
That is really beautiful to hear. So after you left there, like, how's your career been looking and how's your life been looking with God?
So I've been doing the same thing, working with kids with autism since I left. So now I'm a registered behavior tech. So I can go in home, I can go in clinics, I can go in schools, I can do all of that. I love it. But like I said, I'm going to go into social work because that's my passion. I really want to help teenage girls and teenage mothers. But I still have a passion for kids with autism. That was like, I'm moving to Charlotte in 3 days. So that was my hardest thing, was leaving my kids. I've been working with my one kid for over 2 years at her house. I taught her to talk and everything. So I had to realize, like, God, sometimes it's time to move on. And I feel like God said, job well done. You did what you needed to do in Baltimore. I helped so many families, like, not even just my home care. The little boy I was working with at the school, I was with him for 3 to 4 years. So it's like I helped him so much, and his parents tell me how much I helped him. I helped so many kids out here. I helped so many kids in Baltimore. And even like when I left Kennedy Krieger, I never had a job appreciate me. I feel like I never stayed at a job too long, especially in Buffalo. I was a kid. I was 19 when I started working, 18 or 19. I worked at like Dunkin' Donuts and stuff. I never had a real job. Kennedy Krieger, when I left, this how like the instructor wrote an email, I guess, and said, everybody, Diamond leaving. I had 50 letters for me. I still got them. Like, I still kept them. They all printed them out. And so many people tell me how much I helped them, even by waving to them. I'm like, oh, I don't remember that, but hey, girl. But it's like so many letters I got was like, Diamond, you changed my life. You made me stay at the school. I'm like, oh my God. Like, but I feel like God, in Buffalo, people didn't recognize me. Like, they knew who I was, but I feel like they start forgetting when I got in the streets. It was like, I don't know, this girl going bad. I feel like Baltimore brought that back out of me. Like, they recognized me. Like, and they showed me how good of a person I am. I forgot. I'm not gonna say I didn't know. I forgot. Like, but stuff like that made me realize, like, wow, you're a good person. You're a good mother. You trying your best. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the weirdest situations will make you realize how good you are doing, how good of a person you are.
And what made you pick North Carolina?
My sister just moved there, so it's so crazy. This is how God works. My sister just moved there, right? Her son, my nephew, got killed 2 years ago, and she was planning on moving there before that. And my nephew got killed, and she was like, I feel like this my move. I got to get out of Buffalo. She was literally driving past the people that killed her son, like calling me like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my, I don't know how you can deal with this. Like, they not in jail or nothing. Like, that was traumatizing. So she left, and I'm not gonna lie, when she first left, I don't know what was on my spirit, but I was like, I know Baltimore so much. I've been here 8 years. I don't want to start over. Even though I don't really have nobody here. Like, my dad family is here, but I'm very distant from them. Love them, good people. But my mom, she set that up like that. She ain't tell me who they was till I was 20 something. So it's so distant from me. My father is in Maryland. I appreciate everything he did for me with the circumstances that he knew about me, which was he didn't even know I was born. He didn't know nothing about me until I was 20 something years old. And he did let me and my son come in his house, his 1-bedroom apartment, when I first moved to Baltimore. I appreciate that with him. But I feel like I came here seeking a father, and I found God. And that's what he wanted me to know. Like, I'm your father. I'm all you need. No shade to my dad. Love my dad. But God wanted me to know that what you think that you lacking, you already had since you was born, which is a father, which is me. And that's all I needed. And that's who I'm taking with me. Taking my dad too in Baltimore. I mean, I'm taking my Baltimore dad, his spirit and his love and all of that. But God, we holding hands. And like, besides my dad, I had nobody in Maryland. So I was here alone. I felt alone. I did everything alone. It just felt like I was by myself. It felt like I was in a foreign city and I didn't know nothing about anybody or anywhere to go. So I was like, I miss my family. And my sister moved out to Charlotte, and she kept telling me, like, y'all should come. I was like, girl, no, I know Maryland. I swear, I don't know what God put on my spirit. One day I got on Indeed. I started filling out applications. I have 2 jobs right now waiting for me in Charlotte. Apartment waiting for me in Charlotte. Like, this is how God works. And I was like, wow, I don't know. One thing about me, I know how to find a job. So I was like, if I do get on Indeed, I'm scared because I know they're going to call me. But when they start calling me and offering me positions, I said, God, I'm ready to do this. Like, I feel like I'm so stuck on settling. I'm done with settling. I'm trying to think big now. I'm settling in Baltimore. I do the same thing every day. Work, be a mom, come home. I don't go out. I don't hang out with friends. I don't do nothing. And that's not what God wants for my life. Like, He's not saying party every night, but He's saying live life. I'm not living life here. I'm not. So when I realized that and I filled out the applications, I don't know what came over me that day because I was so nervous to start over. But I'm like, Diamond, you're somewhere that you've never been, so you can do it again. Especially with the knowledge that you have now, you can do it again. So once I really set that in stone and I was like, I'm ready to go, it's like He didn't make me hate it here, but I'm so checked out of Baltimore right now. I'm so checked out. And I feel like God is making me uncomfortable. He made me have neighbors on top of my head that I never had. I lived in these apartments for 5 years. They jumping, screaming, yelling all night. But I made a video on TikTok and I said, God, you're talking to me while I'm talking to people. I said, listen, everybody, God is making you uncomfortable, not because He wants to make you angry, but because He wants you to move. I made this video right before I decided to move. And I didn't know I was talking to myself. But I got so many likes, so many comments, and I was like, He is not making you uncomfortable. He wants you to move. That's what He's doing. He's not making you mad. He wants you to go. And He said that to me. So that's just how He works. I feel like He put a message in my head that I thought was for the whole world, but that message was for me. And I took it and I ran with it and going on about my next journey. So I'm actually signing back up for social work. I signed up in Baltimore right before I decided to move, but that wasn't for me. So now I'm signing up in Charlotte. When I get there, I'm gonna start with my basic classes and stuff, because a lot of classes that I took at Clark Atlanta University didn't go through because it was only for like a semester. So I owed so much money. It was a lot going on with that. I'm finally done with that now. But so I'm starting fresh. I'm starting like I'm a kid out of high school, but I don't care. I got to do what I got to do. So I'm going to sign up for my basic classes for social work. Then I'm gonna go straight for my master's in social work, and y'all gonna be seeing me soon, very soon. But that's just, I feel like that I'm going back to my passion. It's like a full circle event. Like um, I I did medical assistant. I did phlebotomy. I'm a registered behavior tech. I just felt like I got to stop doing what is just convenient for the moment. I want to do what I really want to do. I want to do what will really make me feel like I'm not at work, which is social work. I love helping people. I help so many people with resumes. I help people find a job. I help people find a house. I'm like, why not get paid for it? Even though that's not my focus, but that's my passion. And that's something I can do with my eyes closed. Like filling out a resume, I could do that in 2 minutes and make you a whole, you feel me? Like I can say you worked here, there, da, da, da. I can make your resume look so good in 2 minutes. So why not take something that's so easy to me and make it my career, and when I know it's my passion? So I just feel like it's 13 years later, 14 years later, but it's never too late to do what God wants you to do.
God's timing is perfect.
Yes, it is.
So how do you feel about like God and everything at this point in your life? Like,
So I feel like He is like the leader, the my protector. I feel like He had my hand. Like I feel like when I came to Baltimore, I was so lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what I didn't like. He made me come here to be by myself on purpose. He wanted me to talk to Him. He wanted me to seek Him. He wanted me to find myself. And I did that. So I feel like He trusts me to take that next step. But at the same time, I'm still working on me. I'm still trying to do things to be more like God. It's still things about me that I don't like. It's still things about me that I want to work on because I want to be more like God. So I'm not perfect and I'm not finished with my journey. It's actually just the beginning. But I feel like where I'm at now, like me and God, we locked in. And that's my number one reason for everything. Even my son, he be like, Mommy, God is number one, you number second, but God number one. And I respect that, and I wish that I knew that at that age. I was trying to seek Him, but I never had somebody that really told me, listen, this is the only answer. And I wish I did have that. Now I feel like my mom is trying to be on that path, and I love her for that. And like I told her the other day, I said, listen, I feel like people are their best self when they are with God. Not necessarily going to heaven, no, like here, but when people are seeking him and like they making him number one, I feel like you the best version of yourself you could ever be. And I told my mom that. I said, you are so, like, when you call me, you talk about God, and you tell me you listening to the word, and you are such a sweet person. You are the best mother ever. But when you not thinking about him, and when you not on his path, and you in your evil modes and stuff, I don't like that person. So I'm saying that to say this. God is the answer to everything. He makes everything better. He makes everything easier. He is my reason that I'm here. He the reason that I'm leaving. He the reason that I'm gonna get to where I'm going. It ain't nobody but him. It ain't a mama, a daddy, a son, a baby daddy, a nothing. It's Jesus. It's God, and that's it. That's the answer. So if you're looking for the answer, that's it.